I'm embarking on a new adventure with the South Pennines Day Ranger. So come with me and let's see what this Rover ticket has to offer.
Welcome on board this Avanti West Coast service to Manchester Piccadilly.
I started my Ranger ticket at Stockport and had the choice of either heading to Sheffield or, as I decided, to Manchester Piccadilly.
So this is just a very quick stop at Oxford Road. I've got on a late running train from Piccadilly, so I've just got a few minutes to wait before my late running train, which is going to take me to Dewsbury. And here's my Trans-Pennine Express, which is going to take me to Dewsbury.
After leaving Manchester, the route took me via Staley Bridge and Mossley and across the Pennines. What a lovely scenic route that is, and we stopped at Huddersfield. After Huddersfield, we headed towards Dewsbury via the site of the former Ravensthorpe station. It's sad to see that station has gone, as I really enjoyed visiting it towards the end of last year, and I'll pop in some footage for when I was there in December.
I've arrived at Dewsbury, and the first thing I notice is this Horizons art project. There's two platforms here. Certainly the station has some age. I've never been here before, so let's go and have an explore. I know there's an annoying alarm in the background, but the first thing I spotted is the West Riding Licensed Refreshment Room, which claims to have been making people miss trains in 1994. Let's hope I'm not added to the list.
The pub is located in the former Grade 2 listed waiting rooms and has been in the Good Beer Guide for over 30 years, as well as winning multiple awards. I really enjoyed my beer here, and you can make a swift exit onto the platform.
I've got around 8 minutes before I need to get back onto the platform to catch a train back to Huddersfield. So let's go and have a quick look and see what we can find. And one thing that sparked my curiosity is that blue plaque over there. Well, that was a really enjoyable brief stop in Dewsbury. Again, as I said, a station I've never visited before, and now I'm waiting for the slightly late running 12:26, which is going to take me to Huddersfield. Welcome to Huddersfield. I've got around half an hour here, and sorry about the buzz in the background, I can do nothing about it. I'm going to have an explore before I get my next train, which is going to take me down to Penistone. Exiting the station, you come down into this square, and that statue in front of me is the former Prime Minister Harold Wilson, who has quite a strong connection with the area. And of course it's nice just to spend a moment admiring this absolutely magnificent station building. And opposite the station on John Williams Street, in this building called the Lion Chambers, there are a couple of options for coffee. That one there, and also this Hive Cafe as well. It has vegetarian and vegan in the window, so let's go and see what they have. This turned out to be an even better choice actually, because everything here is either vegetarian and vegan, so if I'm ever in Huddersfield again with a bit more time, it's certainly a place I will head to. And now before my train down to Penistone, just having a bit of a walk, and here is the market, which actually dates back to 1888. I discovered that the square outside the station is actually called St George's Square, and now it's time to head back into the station to catch my train to Penistone while this really noisy lorry goes behind me. I hope you can hear me. Would you believe there's an old pacer carriage there?
Welcome aboard this Northern Train 2. Sheffield. The next station stop is Lockwood.
I'm on board 150.002, which is probably about as basic a train as you can get. I'm on board the 1311 from Sheffield to Huddersfield, and partly the reason for doing this trip is to remember one I did back in 1985 when the line was under a severe threat of closure. I do have a photo album, and I will show you some photos of places I visit back then and how they look now.
Berry Brow.
Berry Brow, of course, is a new station and wasn't around in 1985. With a quick change of plan en route, I've decided to get off at Brockholes, which turns out to be a really good choice. It's a really delightful station. I've not got long here before catching the train back up north. I'm going to try and do a bit of back and forth before I get to Penistone. And the things I really like about here are the old station building and just the general atmosphere here. It's such a lovely spot. I've got 12 minutes here, so let's go and have an explore around Brockholes. And the first impression I get, it's very, very hilly round here. To get anywhere, you've really got to walk down this hill. I'm not sure I want to pop down there and then back up, as I've really got less than 10 minutes now before the train I want to catch. So let's just go back to the station and just take it in before I get my next train. In terms of facilities here, you've got the disused platforms, you've got the old station building over there, and on this side you do have a small waiting shelter, you've got a ticket machine, you've got an information board about walks from stations on the line, and also this storybook trail where Brockholes is number 5. I've gone back one station to Honley. Again, a single platform with a disused platform opposite. Certainly Honley looks a more substantial place than Brockholes did. I've got more time here before I catch the train south, which actually is going to take me to Penistone. So I've got plenty of time to explore, and let's go and see what we can find here. I do like this tiny waiting shelter here, and if we head down the steps, I'm not going to catch it, but I can actually hear a bus. So I wonder whether a bit of clever timetabling actually has a bus which actually connects with the train. And obviously behind this locked door here is the tunnel which would have taken you to the abandoned other platform. But as the sign says, it is a pleasant walk down Station Road to the village centre. So let's get down there and let's go and have a look. I'm already absolutely loving this station, certainly a very good choice to stop off. I don't need any pizza, but I certainly wasn't expecting to see a Domino's, and if I carry on walking this direction, Honley village is just a quarter of a mile away according to the sign. So anyway, that was just a brief
look at Honley and let's get our next train, which is going to take me to Penistone. So I've arrived at Penistone, a station I really did want to visit on this trip, and it goes back to photos I took in 1985. I do have some snowy photos of this being a junction station because this is where the Woodhead Pass line peeled off on its way to Manchester. There are two platforms here, and on the opposite platform there's an interesting waiting shelter there, and there's also a foot crossing as well. And one thing I want to try and do is find out where the junction is and try and see whether I can recreate the photo I took in 1985. You do have the abandoned platforms from the old Woodhead line, and the line now has been repurposed as the Trans-Pennine Trail. Also around here as well, there is a nod to the steel industry which used to be present in the area, a nice little information board there. And if we head down here, this is where we actually go onto the trail. Anyway, let's head into the town because I really could do with the coffee. Well, the home coffee house certainly proved to be a good choice. I really enjoyed my cake there. Now, I've probably got about half an hour before my train, which is going to take me to Barnsley. So, one last look at the abandoned platforms before I go back to the station and catch my train to Barnsley. I just keep spotting things here. I really like this Centuries of Communities, Hundreds of Stories board, and there's one interesting thing which relates to something I said earlier about the closure notices between 1980 and 1983 about this particular line. The next stop on this trip is Barnsley, and I've arrived here and quickly noticed that the station signs actually say Barnsley Interchange rather than Barnsley. The Tommy Taylor Memorial Bridge, quite an impressive structure actually, provides a really good view of the station and is named after a former footballer who was tragically killed in the 1958 Munich air disaster. My brief stop in Barnsley is nearly over, and I'm waiting for the 17:10 service, which is going to take me down to Sheffield. So, how much did the South Pennines Day Ranger cost me? With a rail card, it was £20.75, and the full price is £31.20. You can't use it before 9 AM Monday to Friday, and there are no restrictions at weekends or public holidays. And you can use it on a variety of companies, including Avanti West Coast, Northern and Trans-Pennine Express.
I really do like this square. You've got the winter gardens there, and as I head back down to the station, you've also got the Crucible Theatre as well. I've got good memories of watching the World Snooker Championships here during the 1980s, and I think it's great news for Sheffield that the World Championships will be staying, I think, for another 20 years. Anyway, let's head back down to the station and catch my train back to Stockport. Hopefully this is a gap in the announcements. No, it isn't. Right, here we go. That Trans-Pennine Express continues on its way to Manchester Piccadilly and then to Liverpool. I'm now back at Stockport, and here's my train. It's going to take me back to Stafford. Thank you so much for coming with me today. I hope you've really enjoyed learning about the South Pennines Day Ranger. Please give the video a like if you've enjoyed it, and also consider subscribing. It leaves me with one last thing to say as this screeching of Anti Pendolino goes by. I'll see you on the next one.